can you tell us about this draft of players that you have already
Yeah, it was
conducted?
kind of, we just kind of split the team up. We're not real deep, so we won't be playing a lot of plays. Hopefully, maybe equivalent of a half a game. But, let the seniors, we split the seniors up, brought the seniors in the room, and then had a draft really by position. So we make sure we had a guy at every position for the scrimmage, and they had a good time with it. And then I didn't put the coaches. I've made four of the off-field guys the de facto head coaches for the game, so I'll be able to criticize them roundly after every poor decision, and I'll let the guys have a little fun. We'll put something at stake. The winning team will probably get a nice buffet of food, and the losing team might get a box of popcorn. So there'll be something at stake.
Who are the coaches for the two sides?
Well, I put Matt Dudek and Billy Karlavich in charge of the blue team, and then I think it's Dusty Rutledge and Chris Singletary in charge of the white team. And they gave advising on the draft, and then they actually had a trade post-draft. They traded, and they wanted to work some more trades, but the commissioner had to veto some of them. So they had a good time with it.
Have you done something like this before?
A long time ago I did. I think I was at West Virginia. We did something similar. And we really don't have enough numbers to do it now, but I like to do it because when you play a real more game, like it's not going to be live special teams, of course, but when you play more of a true game type of thing and have something at stake, the competitive juices start to flow with the players. And that in with the coaches, you can't really divide the coaches up because they want, I would hope if you're a defensive line coach, you want the D-line on both sides to play well, not just the one you're coaching. So it'll be fun. Hopefully we'll have a good crowd.
What do you hope is different from the showcase?
More people, better execution. I think, and it's we've got some recruits coming in too, so it's going to be good. And I think it's hopefully a chance for maybe some folks that haven't been in our stadium to enjoy that. And plus, I think they're giving away prizes too, a chance to win free tuition and some TVs and some other stuff. So, what's else? Why not Friday night, 6 o'clock? Spend an hour of your time, or an hour and a half of your time coming over to Arizona Stadium. It'd be fun.
Is Alsadek a vocal kind of kid?
Semi. Jacob is not a big rah-rah guy, but he's a natural leader just by the way he works. There's nobody in our program that it's more important to than Jacob Alsadek. And it's been that way since the day he walked on campus. It's a great example of, I just talked to the team about the difference between loving football and liking football. And it's a hard sport, and so you better love it. And Jacob is a great example of here's a guy that loves being a football player. Not worried about all the extracurricular things of being a football player, just loves being a football player.
What kind of influence can he have on the young guys like a Keenan Walker or Michael Elatis?
Hopefully tremendous, I hope. They got to be willing to listen. And I think for the most part they do. But, Jacob is, I guess for lack of a better term, a self-made player. He wasn't highly recruited coming out of high school. He kind of grew into his body late and just worked his tail off to be, a 3 or 4 year starter for us. So I think it's a great example of a guy that the game's really important to.
A lot of the players have talked about Tony Fields, especially the older guys, being impressed by him. What have you seen out of him?
He's been, for a guy that's supposed to be in high school right now, getting ready for his prom or whatever, he's adapted really well. He's a mature guy. He's athletic. Football's important to him, and so he'll contribute as a true freshman. Looks like.
What is the kind of the recruiting battle plan when spring practice is over? What are the sorts of things that you hope to accomplish over the next couple months?
Yeah, really, our coaches have been evaluating, so they'll know where to go. I don't want to have our staff. We get so many days they can go out and recruit. I don't want them to have to go out and ask a high school coach, who do you have? I want it to already know, where the players are at, and then be able to go and ask the coach about specific players, get the transcripts, do the evaluation. And so by finishing spring Friday night, our coaches will have some time before they get on the road, and particularly because we're going into some new areas for the first time in years, and it's important we have a plan going into it.
Are you allowed to go on the road in spring?
No, they changed that a few years ago, so I'll be meeting with the players. This month of April is a time for me to meet with every guy on the team and try to get our roster set.
How do camps change in the summer? Obviously you have more on campus.
Yeah, you're limited now to 10 days of it, so we're going to be very active, you know, and there'll be certain days where we work more than one camp, off campus, satellite camps, but our camps are always the most critical, our 7-on-7 and high school camp, but we're going to be in Texas, we're going to be in California, and maybe a couple other places as well. So we're going to be pretty active in camp circuit.
What's the status of Terrence Miller as far as getting him on the staff?
Yeah, he's got to take a class now. I think this summer, 1 or 2 classes. Do well on that, and then if he does well, which I think he will, because he's a sharp guy, then he'll be our offensive graduate assistant starting in the fall.
I believe the vote for a 10th assistant is coming up. I mean, what are your impressions of that? And what do you
Yeah,
think about
I hope it passes and effective immediately. I think it'll pass. I'm not sure that it'll be effective immediately. I think there's a lot of places that want to wait until after the season. I think it's another job for another 128, 130 guys, whatever. So I'd like to make it effective immediately. It's needed. The coach-to-player ratio is really low in football, but I'm not sure when it'll. I'm not even sure when the vote. I know it's in April sometime, but I think it'll pass, but I'm not sure.
You kind of vacillated in spring between morning and afternoon practices. Do you know what you want to do in training camp and during the season next year?
Yeah, in training camp we'll do morning or in evening just because of the heat. You know, if we had an indoor building, it wouldn't really matter. I would do a 3:30 afternoon like everybody, but we don't have one. Did I mention we don't have an indoor? But in the fall we'll probably do like we did last year with the morning practice schedule and leaving a little bit of time in the afternoon, late afternoon for meetings. I kind of like that because we're able to get a full day in, and you know we're able to get practice in before it gets too hot. And the players seem to like it. We're talking to them. They like practicing in the morning as opposed to the afternoon. So I think we'll probably do that again.
Is anyone definitively being held out of the scrimmage because they're unable to play?
You're going to be limited. You know, guys like J.J. Taylor and Nick Wilson, they're going to play some, but not a lot. And there'll be other veteran players that'll play, instead of playing 25, 30 plays, they may only play 12 or 15. So we'll do some scrambling around and have guys, you know, there's a blue and a white team, but we'll have guys put on vests or whatever just to get through the scrimmage.
All right. Thank you.